How you doing, everybody? I want to welcome you to the second half of our very special two-part interview of Stevie Nicks. Now, when I say special, I mean that in the most literal way. Not only because this is such a rare and exclusive radio interview, but most importantly because of the lady herself. You are about to hear a very honest and candid encounter, not with some musical technician, craftsman, or pop star. You are about to meet someone who is truly a living definition of an artist. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to rock and roll's most beloved gypsy. I'm Jim Ladd. Welcome to the second half of our two-part special interview of Stevie Nicks. Okay, I Can't Wait, which starts the album. This is a song about the frustration of waiting anxiously for a lover to make up their mind. It's like, are you gonna yes or no? Because I'm tired of waiting for this nonsense.
That's a literal translation of it, yeah. A cosmic translation of it is that I haven't seen this kid, his name is Rick, who wrote this song, who I've known since he was 13, and I was 18. The only other person I've known longer than that, there isn't anybody except Robin. And Rick was Robin's brother's best friend, so we hung out a lot together. So when he and Glenn, one of my roommates, came over one night and brought this track that had this song on it. No vocal or nothing, just the track, and very, very percussive and real wonderful. I kind of said, okay, I'll listen to that. And they left, and I went crazy. I went into my bathroom, turned up the stereo as loud as it would blast, and played I Can't Wait all night long, and made up the words and danced around to it and saw the video in my head, saw it on TV, and went in the next night without Jimmy Iovine or anybody else's permission and did the vocal that's on the record right now, the next night.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's the only time I ever sang this song.
Okay, Lily, let's move on to rock a little. Now, I don't care if you want to talk about a realistic, literal, bilateral, or cosmic interpretation. This is an autobiographical tune, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is about you.
This was also written before Belladonna came out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, now I know you've had this title in your head for years. You've talked to me about...
I've had most of the song. In fact, I mean, really, the entire Sometimes It Rages, that was about the ocean, you know, that like shook my house and scared me to death every night, because I thought it was an earthquake. Rock a little, even when it's calm, the house still shook a little.
Yeah.
Just like the sea, I rock a little. Some say it was just like me. Rock a little. That means cool out, relax, okay? Just rock a little all the time and you won't die.
In writing or preparing for this interview, it dawned on me at one moment that your songs remind me of a combination of rock and roll and English folk tales. It has that mystery yet backbeat, you know what I mean?
Well, it has a lot of Englishy, you know, like, well, first of all, let's face it, I spent an awful lot of time with the English people.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I heard a lot of English music, you know. And second of all, I've always loved the, like, green leaves is my, you know, alas, my love, you do me wrong. That kind of melody I love. So I tend to hunt for that kind of melody and put it to a real grooving kind of beat, you know.
There's a one verse in here. It says, no explanations, and I tell you no, you say nothing. That is how songs are written, stories are told, rumors are started.
And handed down, right.
Great.
Through the storytellers, right.
Great, yeah. The legends.
Yeah, and that's how the legends are made.
When we return, we'll talk about Dreams, Chains, and Fleetwood Mac when our special two-part interview of Stevie Nicks continues. I'm Jim Ladd, and we're back now with our very special guest, Stevie Nicks. I sing for things.
Our question is, what things?
Well, I don't think it's the material things you're talking about here.
No, it's not, because we already got all those things.
That's right.
In fact, we've already got too many of each of those things to even, that's what I hate. I love having my favorite skirt and my favorite boots and my favorite jacket, my favorite old, you know?
Yeah.
And when I start having a bunch of neat things that are like several things that aren't near as neat as your favorite, but similar.
Right.
I can't choose. It's like Sophie's Choice. I can't make a choice. And that makes me want to run away and not bother with it. I just don't want to even go.
When you say in here that you're living on dreams and chains, what do you mean by that?
So I have everything, but I'm living on dreams and chains. I think that the things that money can't buy means, well, that's about Fleetwood Mac, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You say that you've given me everything, and you say that I have everything. So I should be the most happiest person in the world. Why am I not the most happiest person in the world? Because I'm living on Fleetwood Mac and dreams and,
chains.
You know, chains. You know, I can still hear you saying you'd never break the chain. If you don't love me now, you will never love me again. Threat. You know. Dreams and chains is, I have my dreams and I'm chained to the ground, you know.
Do you see it as Fleetwood Mac? I mean, I don't mean to be so boorish, but do you see Fleetwood Mac as a ball and chain in your life at this point? That's impeding you from your dreams?
No. I sometimes see us all as ball and chains in all of our lives.
I see.
You know, because you know, Fleetwood Mac will always have the potential to be great. With Fleetwood Mac, it just depends on whether or not they feel like being great or not.
Yeah.
You know?
That band has always been that way.
You know, yeah. And they'll never change, so, you know, you're living on dreams and chains. You better get used to it. You deal with it, you know?
It has been 4 years since Fleetwood Mac's last album, Mirage, but they're finally back in the studio working on a brand new LP. And according to Stevie, the feeling between the members of the band has never been better.
It is really wonderful that this experience with Fleetwood Mac is turning into such a really wonderful thing, because it's really the nicest it's ever been. And I think that, I don't know what changed really, but something changed, because everybody is really going out of their way to be really sensitive to everybody else. And nobody yelled at me for leaving town for over a month, you know. And of course, being, you know, as hyper oversensitive as I am, I was ready for them to yell at me, and they didn't. And so in the last, you know, 4 or 5 days, I haven't even heard everything. I have 2 of Chris's songs and 1 of Lindsay's, and I took in several things, which we've recorded 2 of already. And then there are the other things that I haven't even heard, so it's gone very quickly, like Fleetwood Mac did.
When we come back, we're going to hear about Stevie's recent trip to Australia, where she went to watch Bob Dylan and Tom Petty.
I almost got thrown out of Australia for singing 1 song, you know, and also told that if I went up there and did another song, that I probably could never come back to Australia.
That and a lot more when our interview of Stevie Nicks continues.